Mr. President, I am proud to join my colleagues Senator Kaine and Senator Paul in introducing this War Powers resolution that provides that we have not authorized the use of force against Venezuela. We meet at a precarious moment when we might be on the precipice of war with that country. Today in the Caribbean or on its way to the region are the following military assets: 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the USS Gravely, Jason Dunham, and Sampson, the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, the USS Newport News, a nuclear attack submarine with torpedoes and tomahawks, the USS Iwo Jima, an amphibious assault ship equipped with a flight deck for F-35s, Ospreys, and attack helicopters, the MV Ocean Trader, a floating base designed for special operations, Reaper drones, Harriet jets, a 5th-generation fighters, incredibly lethal aircraft. But this is not all. The largest aircraft carrier ever built, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is on its way right now from the Mediterranean. This means we will see upwards of an additional 24 Super Hornets and 24 additional F-35s. This warship will be accompanied by 3 additional destroyers, bringing at least 10 of America's best naval warships within striking distance of Caracas. All told, there will be more than 400 missiles and other vertical launch systems on Nicolas Maduro's doorstep. 115 Tomahawks alone, with an additional 70 coming with the Ford. Are we supposed to believe that this is only about striking speedboats? If so, why will there be 10,000 American service members in the vicinity? Why fly 3 B-52s from the United States to the region? Why have a B-1 supersonic bomber flown off the coast of Venezuela in just the last few weeks for a so-called bomber attack demonstration? That's not my definition of the mission, that's what the Pentagon called it. Bomber attack demonstrations for what? To blow up fishing vessels? We all need to see that this has quickly become so much bigger and so much more dangerous. And maybe that was the point, to focus the narrative on drug trafficking so we don't recoil from what may be right around the corner with Venezuela, and that is the use of force to achieve the goal of regime change. Now, I understand the president this weekend said that he was not inclined along those lines. But I urge my colleagues to look at the administration's actions and not merely its words, because if it walks like a military buildup and talks like a military buildup, it might just very well be a military buildup. 2 weeks ago, the president said, "We are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control." And now the buildup I just described. People may be putting a lot of stock into the president's most recent words, saying he would not strike Venezuela, when he was on 60 Minutes on Sunday. But when asked if the leader of Venezuela's days were numbered, he also answered, "Yes, I think so." That's what our commander-in-chief said with the largest warship the U.S. has sailing close to Venezuela. If any other world leader moved this kind of firepower to another country's doorstep, we know what we would believe was taking place. And the bottom line is this: Americans do not want another war. They don't want American service members put in harm's way, either flying missions or with boots on the ground for a war not authorized by Congress. Mothers and fathers of American sailors, Marine soldiers, pilots do not want to lay awake at night wondering if their kids will be the ones who have to be deployed to yet another armed conflict, this time in South America. Last month, we came to this body with a resolution to end the unlawful strikes the administration had been taking against boats in international waters, and we came up a few votes short. But while we remain concerned about those ongoing strikes, this debate is about a different resolution. This resolution is tailor-written to stop one thing: a war with the nation of Venezuela. The administration has not asked Congress to authorize such a war, but the administration appears to be laying the groundwork for one anyway. If they believe a war is necessary, let them come to Congress to make the case for one. Maduro is a murderous dictator. He is an illegitimate leader, having overturned the last election by the use of military force. He is a bad actor. But I do not believe the American people want to go to war to topple this regime in the hopes that something better might follow. If the administration feels differently, let them come to the Congress and make the case. Let them come before the American people and make the case. Let them seek an authorization to use force to get rid of Maduro. But let us not abdicate our responsibility. Let us vote to say no to war without our approval. We don't have to wait, nor should we wait for that war to begin before we vote. The War Powers Resolution very clearly and intentionally gives Congress the ability to prevent a president from going to war in the first place. The legislative history of the War Powers Act makes that abundantly clear. My colleagues might object, well, these aren't yet hostilities, and yet people are already dying. They might object, well, this is not yet imminent, and yet, with the kind of military force being brought to the region, with the danger to our sailors, our Marines, our soldiers, as Senator Kaine outlined, because if Venezuela believes that we are on the precipice of war, they have the capability, might take action against our ships. It clearly meets the definition of imminent. Our predecessors in Congress designed this law precisely to respond to the very type of military buildup that we see here and act in advance of the U.S. being dragged into another war without Congress's authorization. We in this body serve our constituents who have told us for years, now for decades, no more war, no more use of military force for regime change. We must reassert our constitutional power, our duty to have the sole decision when American lives could be on the line, when war is on the line. I share my colleague Senator Kaine's concerns, having read the opinion of the Office of Legal Counsel. But regardless of what people view of the merits of that opinion, what we're talking about here is a wholly other matter. What we're talking about here is potential war with Venezuela. What we're talking about here is a massive military and naval buildup in the region when hostilities may be imminent under circumstances clearly contemplated by Congress when it passed the War Powers Resolution. I have debated, Senator Kaine, whether this is our most important power, that is the power to declare war or to refuse to declare war, or whether it is the power of the purse. It may indeed be a bit of both, in the sense that one way of cutting off a military campaign is by cutting off support for that military campaign. But we have already so abdicated our power of the purse in this institution. Should we also abdicate our responsibility to declare war and allow the administration, or any president, to usurp that authority? It would be antithetical to what the founders intended and what they wrote. As the founders wrote, the power was given to the legislative branch to declare war because the power to make war was something that an executive might grow too fond of. So the power was given to Congress, to this legislative body. Let's use that power. Let's reassert authority. Let's say through this resolution, if the president or the administration want to go to war for the purposes of regime change or any other purpose, that it must come to Congress and make the case to us and to the American people. And I urge and I vote on the resolution and yield back.